Today I wanted to do a little thought-provoking thoughts on the difference between liberals and conservatives. And it's not a political post at all. It's just an observation from me. Liberals, for me, from what I see and what they portray themselves to be, do not want laws. They don't want rules. They don't want to follow the Bible. They think that for them to have rights, they have to strip the rights away from everybody else, that nobody else has a say or has an opinion. Theirs is their opinion is the way it should be, and there's no other alternatives. They have to hate the opposing view, the opposing opinion. They have to hate those people. They have to hate them and shut them down at all costs. Conservatives, on the other hand, the ones that I know and the ones that I see, like to have rules and laws to follow. They like to follow the Bible. They don't hate the opposing side. They have a right to their opinion, and they have a right to their view. And if I'm a conservative, so if we don't agree with that, we can look at them and just say, hey, you know what? That's your view, that's your point of view, and you have a right to it, and you'll have to answer to that someday. Just like I'll have to answer for what I believe in. Liberals, for the most part, don't believe in God, and if they are liberal and they believe in God, they can't be for killing babies. They can't be for taking God out of religion. They can't be for altering the bodies of young kids. So a liberal Christian, there's no such things because liberal and Christian are in direct contrast of each other, exact polar opposites of each other. So it's impossible to be a liberal Christian. You cannot vote for somebody that's going to kill babies and then all of a sudden go to church on Sunday and think everything's all right. And again, this is not a political post. It's a moral post. It's about morals and values. And if you don't value life and you don't value the things that are in the Bible, then so be it. That you have that right. You have that choice, and you have to answer for that. So, I mean, I'm not, and again, I'm not even picking sides. I'm just saying, that those two things exist. If you cannot vote for something that is against your morals and against what you believe in the Bible and against what Jesus says, and then call yourself a Christian. I mean, you just can't do it. Now, I know that, Christians do sin. I know that I do every day. Every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't do something that I'm sorry for at the end of the day. And that's the difference between conservatives and liberals too. Conservatives have a God to answer to, and they have to. And at the end of the day, when they go over their day, they have to make right on the things that they've done through the day that they feel like they could have done better at. Liberals don't have that. They don't have to answer anybody because they don't believe in God. Because, as I said earlier, if you do believe in God, you can't be a liberal. I mean, you cannot be a liberal. You cannot be a liberal and believe in God. So, with that being said, they don't have anybody to answer to. So when at the end of the day, if they've done something wrong that makes them, $100,000, then they made $100,000. Now, for me, if I made $100,000, but it cost people their lives, or it cost people their livelihood, or it was destroying a nation, I would feel bad about that. I couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it. I was talking to my dad the other day about that kind of thing, and I was telling him that if I was voting, and the person that was against everything that I believed in came up with a campaign and said, "Hey, I'm going to give every single person that votes for me $5 million. It'll be in their account the minute they click on my name." I couldn't do it because I couldn't live with myself knowing that I sold out. Toby Mac has a song that talks about that. It talks about, gaining the world and losing your soul. I mean, you're going to gain the world for 90 years maybe of living a really great life, and then after 90 years spend eternity in hell for it. The trade-off, again, liberals don't believe in God, so they don't think there's any repercussions for the things they do, so they don't care, because they don't think they think when this life ends that they just go into the ground. That's it. There's no repercussions. There's no retribution for anything they've done. If they can get away with it here on earth, then they've gotten away with it, and that's the way they feel. And at least the ones I know. I mean, I used to know some atheists and liberals that were actually pretty decent people, but I think that the atheists and the liberals that I'm talking about that were like that, I think they weren't full atheists. I think they had a doubt in their mind and they thought there might be a God. Now, a few of them have turned into some really horrible people because I think they've made their decision. I can always tell when an atheist makes their final decision because they come a hideously miserable, angry, rage-filled soul. And that's how I can tell. Because I've never, ever in my life met an atheist that didn't have severe anger issues. And I'll prove that because any of them that listen to this, because I have a person that listens to my podcast that makes up different names and tries to attack my Christianity, and that's what I'm talking about. They're so angry that you believe and love God and trust in a God to take care of you that they cannot stand it. They have to destroy it because evil will seek out good, and that's what they are. They're evil. So they'll seek out good and try to destroy it. The place that I work here, the people that run this place are evil, wicked people. And I butt heads with them constantly. But you know what? I wear as a badge because I know that I'm good. And I've talked to my spiritual mentors about this because I was like, I don't get it. I said, I try to do the best I can. I try to be as nice as I can. And these guys hate me. And he said, because your spirits collide. And that's the first time I had heard that phrase before. And I started going, wow. And I said, and at first I was like, my spirits collide. And two of my spiritual mentors that I trust and believe in told me the same thing. They said, you have a spirit that follows God. People that don't follow God hate that. Satan hates it. So when Satan will send his top warriors to destroy that. So whenever that happens to you, whenever things happen to you that aren't good and you can't figure out why, that's probably why. And wear it as a badge because it is super honorable, and Satan absolutely hates it when you say, you know what, God bless you, have a good day. He doesn't even know how to respond to that. If you really want to make him mad, just say, Jesus loves you, and Satan shudders at that. He'll flee at that. If you just say to the person that's giving you all the problems, all the grief, Jesus loves you. I started doing that, and it rebukes them immediately, because I used to say, hey, you're in my prayers. That's a whole different thing than saying Jesus loves you. Because when you tell Satan that Jesus loves you, Satan, it just short circuits his brain. He does not know how to understand that. He does not know how to deal with that phrase. And so his warriors are much the same way. When somebody treats you horribly and you just say, hey, Jesus loves you, God bless you, and God blesses you. You say those two things to them, and they have no idea what to come back for that, because they're trying to get you to spew out profanity and yell and scream at them, and because then they win. And I've learned that a long time ago, because there were people that pushed my buttons, and I'd do that, and I'd look up at them, and they'd almost have a smirk on their face, and I'd be like, wow, they did it again. They got me to blow, and they got me to drop to their level. And you'll find they're not going to come up to your level, but if you do that kind of stuff, you're planting seeds, and eventually they may come up to your level. And if they don't, you left them at their level, and you stayed on your level. So that's what I see as the difference between liberal and conservatives in a nutshell. Is liberals want to be able to do whatever they want and have nobody to answer to, and conservative people want to follow rules, and they answer to a God that forgives the mistakes that they do make and blesses them for the things that they do. So that's about it. So that's my thoughts for today. God bless you all, and have a really blessed Easter. If I don't talk to you before then, Palm Sunday's coming up. Even if you're not Catholic, they have Easter vigils in the Catholic Church the night before Easter, and they have them at pretty much all the Catholic churches. If you find a Catholic church and just ask them when their Easter vigil starts, and I'm telling you, you don't have to be Catholic. It goes through the whole from creation to the resurrection, and it's a beautiful night. It's a little long, but you leave there with I went to one almost by accident a few years ago, and I knew they had them, but I knew they were long, and I was like, I'll go. And then I did go to one a few years ago. Somebody wanted me to go because they were becoming Catholic, and they wanted me to be a sponsor, so I had to go to it. So I went to it, and I haven't missed one since then. So, and that was probably 7 or 8 years ago. So, if you get a chance, go to the Easter Vigil in your Catholic church close to you, and I promise you won't regret it. So, God bless you all. Have a very blessed Easter, and remember, God forgives. God forgives, and He also blesses. Have a great, great day.